Ah, America, the land of the free, the home of the brave, and the place where dreams are supposed to come true for millions from around the world. But lately, it's also become the world champion of making people wait in line, sometimes for years, not just hours. But not just any line. This is the invisible, soul-crushing queue of the United States Citizenship and Immigration Services, or USCIS Backlog. It's a line you can't see, but you can definitely feel, stretching across continents and time zones. It's a bureaucratic black hole so vast, astronomers might name a constellation after it. If you listen closely, you can almost hear the paperwork groaning under its own weight. Millions of people, students, workers, families have done everything right, media. Close-up of hands filling out immigration forms, diverse families reviewing paperwork at home, filled out forms, paid fees, submitted every document, double-checked every signature, and followed every rule to the letter. And yet, they've landed in a queue that makes the DMV look like a bullet train by comparison. At least at the DMV, you know you'll eventually get to the front. This isn't just an inconvenience. It's a life-altering purgatory. Every day in limbo feels like a year, and every letter in the mailbox could change everything. Or nothing at all. Imagine planning a wedding, but you can't set a date because your fiancé's visa might come through next week, or next decade. The uncertainty seeps into every part of your life. Or being a doctor who could save lives, but you're stuck making lattes because your work permit is lost in a pile of paper. Talented professionals are left on the sidelines, their skills gathering dust. While these people wait, their lives don't. Children grow up, opportunities vanish, and the American dream starts to look like a cruel joke. Families are forced to put their futures on hold, watching milestones pass by from the waiting room. The system demands perfect paperwork from applicants, but operates on a timeline best described as whenever. There's no tracking number, no estimated delivery, just hope and frustration. It's like ordering pizza for delivery in 30 minutes, but it arrives 3 years later, cold and with a bill for the full pie. And you're expected to be grateful it showed up at all. Tonight we're diving into this bureaucratic abyss. Media, busy USCIS office with people waiting, news anchor behind desk with immigration files. How we got here, who's paying the price, and whether there's any hope of cleaning up this mess. Buckle up, because the story behind the backlog is as tangled as the paperwork itself. It's going to be a bumpy, well-documented ride. Let's get started and see if there's a light at the end of this endless tunnel. How did the land of opportunity become the land of your application is still pending? For millions, the American dream now starts with a waiting game, not a welcome. It's a perfect storm. Policy changes, budget cuts, and old-fashioned administrative chaos all colliding at once, creating a system that's harder to navigate than ever before. Over the past decade, immigration rules have become more complex than a Christopher Nolan film. More vetting, more interviews, more paperwork, and more hoops to jump through at every turn. Each new rule is another red light on an already jammed highway, slowing progress to a crawl and leaving hopeful applicants stuck in endless gridlock. Then there's the money. USCIS is funded by the very people waiting in line, turning every application into a transaction that keeps the system running. When applications drop or a pandemic hits, so does their funding, leading to fewer staff, longer delays, and a backlog that grows with every passing day. And the technology? Most of USCIS still runs on paper files and manual data entry, with digital upgrades lagging far behind the needs of today's world. A single typo or missing document can send your application into a bureaucratic black hole for years, with little hope of a quick fix. It's a system so outdated it probably thinks a floppy disk is cutting edge. While the rest of the world has moved on, this process is stuck in the past. The result? A recipe for disaster, cooked up over years of neglect, underfunding, and a refusal to modernize. That's how we got here. A system overwhelmed, applicants exhausted, and hope delayed at every step. Now let's look at what it's like to actually face this beast, up close and personal through the eyes of those living it every day. Administrative hurdles barely covers it. The reality is a paperwork hydra. Conquer one form, and 2 more appear. These forms are labyrinthine, with instructions that might as well be in Klingon. Miss a checkbox? Welcome to the request for evidence loop. This complexity creates a booming business for immigration lawyers, but locks out those who can't afford help. It's a public service turned privilege for the wealthy. Processing centers are a lottery. Vermont might process your case in 6 months, Texas in 2 years, for the same application. Applicants have no control over where their future is decided. USCIS officers are overworked, undertrained, and drowning in impossible caseloads. Mistakes are inevitable, and a single error can upend a family's life. The system fails everyone, on both sides of the desk, and the human cost is staggering. Every application number is a person, a life on hold. The waiting isn't passive. It's a daily struggle that erodes mental health, strains relationships, and puts futures in jeopardy. Not knowing if you can take a job, visit a dying parent, or even stay in the country, this is the reality. Many are stuck in legal limbo, unable to work, forced to survive on a single income or risk exploitation in the shadow economy. It's a waste of human potential, and a blow to the American economy desperate for skilled workers. The emotional toll is immense. Depression, anxiety, and a sense of hopelessness. Families are separated, marriages strained, children left in fear. This isn't just inconvenience, it's systemic cruelty. Yet people find ways to cope, building communities, sharing information, celebrating small victories. Their resilience is astonishing, but it shouldn't be necessary. The system demands too much from those who simply want to build a better life. Let's meet some of them. Meet Maria, a registered nurse from the Philippines, recruited by a rural Oregon hospital in 2022. The hospital needed her skills desperately. They filed all the paperwork, expecting her within a year. 3 years later, Maria is still in Manila. The hospital is still short-staffed. Maria describes her life as waiting in an airport terminal for a flight that never gets a gate. She can't commit to her job, buy a home, or start a family. Her future is tied to a case number. Every morning she checks the USCIS portal, hoping for a change. Most days, there's only silence. The hospital has spent thousands on legal fees, but the only thing standing between Maria and her patients is a mountain of paperwork. Maria did everything right. She's exactly who America says it wants. Yet her dream is hanging by a thread, tangled in red tape, and she's not alone. Ahmed, a software engineer from Egypt, graduated top of his class at an American university and landed a job in Silicon Valley. His company sponsored his H-1B visa. Everything was on track until a single-digit typo in his renewal application made his case vanish. For months, his status was pending. Lawyers got nowhere. His work authorization was about to expire. Ahmed felt dehumanized. I was just a broken case number. He'd contributed, paid taxes, followed every rule, yet one clerical error nearly cost him everything. After months of frantic effort and congressional intervention, the error was fixed. Ahmed was lucky, but his story exposes a system so fragile, a typo can derail a life. There's no customer service, no easy fix, just the queue. Ahmed is still building the future in Silicon Valley, but he knows how easily it could all disappear. Multiply his story by millions. Is there hope for reform, or are we doomed to hearing your case is pending forever, trapped in a system that feels endless and unchanging? The good news is that at last, people are finally paying attention. The voices demanding change are growing louder, and the issue is no longer being ignored. The bad news? Real lasting change requires political will, something that's often in short supply, especially when it comes to immigration. First, USCIS needs direct, reliable funding, not just applicant fees, but stable support from Congress to keep the system running smoothly. We need to hire and train enough officers and plan for the long term, not just patch things up when there's a crisis. Second, we must radically simplify the process, making it less confusing and more accessible for everyone. Use plain language, smart online forms, and eliminate redundant paperwork that only slows things down and frustrates applicants. If the IRS already knows your income, why does USCIS need 3 years of tax returns? It's time to stop making people jump through unnecessary hoops. Government agencies need to talk to each other, share information, and work together instead of creating more red tape. Third, roll back rules that create bottlenecks but add little real security, and focus resources where they're truly needed. Focus on high-risk cases and streamline the rest so people aren't left waiting for years. These aren't radical ideas. They're common sense, proposed for years by experts who know the system inside and out. The problem isn't a lack of solutions, but a lack of political courage to actually implement them and make a difference. The question is, has the pain finally become great enough to force real action? Or will we keep waiting? Or will we just get another commission, another report, and more empty promises? The blueprints for a better system already exist. The real question is, will we finally use them and build something better? Whenever a system is this broken, leaders promise a tech revolution. Digitization, automation, AI. USCIS has tried to digitize for years with mixed results. You can't just slap a digital interface on a broken process. Sometimes new tech creates new problems, glitches, lost files, buggy portals. True reform means reimagining the process from the ground up with the user in mind. Build smart systems that pre-fill info, flag issues, and communicate clearly. Use AI to help, not replace human officers. But building that system is hard, expensive, and requires real vision. There's no app for this. So, are we left with delay or hope? The answer is both. The backlog is real and won't vanish overnight. For those in the queue, the wait continues. But the absurdity is now impossible to ignore. Nurses, engineers, families, everyone is feeling the pain. Business leaders and hospitals are demanding change. The pressure is building from all sides. The solutions are practical. Fund the agency, simplify the rules, use technology wisely. The challenge is turning frustration into political action. The story of the USCIS backlog is about what kind of country America wants to be. The people stuck in this backlog have shown faith in America's promise. It's time for America to be worthy of that faith. Let's clear the queue and let people get on with their lives.